And once again, yes, I believe this bear market will pass. Do not let the fear of the market and typical crashing that happens every few years or every few months at this point completely make you forget about all the fundamentals, all the research you've done, and throw it all out the window due to fear. What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everybody's doing alright today, and let's kick it off and dive into some crypto news. First up, looking at the Bitcoin price chart, we can see it has been a very tough year. Since November of last year, we've been in a downtrend and Bitcoin has crashed about 77% from the all-time high price. Now during the 2014 and 2015 bear market, we can see that Bitcoin crashed from its all-time high wick to wick about 86-87%. And you can see after this 80 to 90% drop, Bitcoin continued on to pump over about 12,000%, as you can see right here. So that's over a 120x return. Now I'm just showing you some examples of previous cycles. No, I'm not really interested in Bitcoin for an ROI. So the 2015 bear market, no substantial retracement, really just a giant cup and handle. Now during the next bear market, 2018, 2019, even to 2020, we can see instead of a giant cup and handle, we did in fact have a retracement. In doing YouTube videos during 2018, 2019, even 2020, the sentiment was low, crypto Twitter was toxic, and during that time we were all filled with plenty of doubt, tons of FUD saying Bitcoin's going to zero. And although it was super tough, I kept going, I kept DCAing, and during this time the best takeaway was really understanding this technology during the hard days, continuing to research and looking at different alts and projects and trying to find the most legitimate protocols that are truly future-proofing and built to survive. Now during this bear market, instead of just a giant cup and handle, we did have a market retracement, drawing a Fibonacci from the high of 2017 to the low in 2018. And during this time in 2018, when we were crashing and Bitcoin was down to about $3,000, a lot of people thought Bitcoin was going under 2K, we were going under $1,000. And that bottom never came. So when we approach this area, whether it is the 50%, even all the way up to the 786, this whole zone really, let me highlight it, all of these retracements, this is what I call a make or break scenario. So as you can see, during this time, it was smart to take some profits off the table after Bitcoin, you can see, climbed back up another 300%, and some altcoins even higher. Because it's make or break, we either reject or we break through and continue another bull run. So in this case, we rejected the 618, crashed March 2020, another black swan, and you can see a 70% crash. And this was the absolute kill shot in the market, and only the most insane and biggest believers with the highest level of conviction were dollar cost averaging as much as possible. Now today, I always keep a cash position, but I'm speaking with experience and plenty of mistakes because during this time, I did not have as much cash on the side. I was buying all the way here, and I didn't have as much as I wanted. So since then, even during the bull run, I've kept a cash position, not just in stables because I don't trust USDT. And it's hard having a portion of your portfolio in cash during a bull run. It is very hard. There's tons of FOMO, and you definitely miss compounding a portion of your portfolio for crazy gains during the cycle. But having a portion of cash, whether that's 10%, 20%, or even 30%, definitely helps me sleep better at night because I know that every few months, every 6 months, every year, there's always a 70 to 90% crash in the crypto market. And during those times, that's when I then DCA. I don't like DCAing when an asset is already reaching up to extensions in a clear uptrend. And I know it might seem silly, but eventually it does come back. And you can see we reject the 618, 70% crash yet again, the kill shot. Everybody thinks we're officially going lower, crypto is dead. And then we approach the 618, the 50% retracement yet again. And instead of rejecting, we break through. Now this was shortly after the May 2020 Bitcoin halving, and historically this does lead to a huge bullish impulse for Bitcoin, and then of course altcoins later. And even from the market bottom in 2018, you can see Bitcoin went up over 2,000%. That is over a 20x return from the bottom. And for the next bull run, I'm always more interested in legitimate altcoins rather than Bitcoin. Bitcoin can be an indicator and help me gauge the market, but overall, I'm much more interested in compounding altcoins. And from this low, you can see Bitcoin went up about 1,600%. Now during this climb, there are altcoins, specifically lower caps, even mid caps, instead of just doing a 5x or a 10x, some of these have in fact done a 50x. For example, I'll show you DAG, it actually did a 70x return from the January 2021 low. Now you're never going to buy the exact bottom and sell the exact top. If you do, kudos and huge props, but even the idea to get 2 consecutive 4x returns or 5x returns could be life-changing within itself. So during the bull run, as Bitcoin starts climbing and you see that an alt is potentially set up, and let's just say that you entered the altcoin, remember, some alts with smaller market caps have a much higher rate of return. Imagine it doing a 5x return or anything like that. If it did a 4 or 5x, and then you sold and you entered the next one at a lower level and got another consecutive 5x return. Let's say you started with $1,000, and this is just for an example, times 5, that's 5K. Then you get another 5x return a couple months later, that is 25K. So you 25x'd your initial $1,000. Now to me, this is huge, and this is what the bull run brings for opportunity. And it's even more powerful if you could get 3, 4, or 5 consecutive moves in a single bull run like this, and imagine starting with even more capital. So this is one way that a lot of people make bank during the bull run. I know back in 2020 on Twitter, I was documenting my sells and showing that I actually sold ALGO right around the top of this range and actually was able to buy back. And I think maybe I bought back here, it did go lower, but overall, doubling your position in an altcoin during a bear market before it goes on a parabolic run. Now, to be clear, I've also made mistakes, and that's why I don't trade my entire bag. So if I'm ever doing anything with XRP or shorting an alt, I always keep long-term holdings in the projects I believe in. I have a separate bag that is a trading bag. Although it feels great when you sell there and then buy back there, how terrible would it feel to sell an alt, attempting to buy back, and it actually just keeps going? And I've done that before as well, which is why I do not play with my long-term holdings. If I did sell an alt and it kept going, I would typically sit in cash, wait, reassess, even sit for 6 months, and very few people can actually wait that long. Or if I see another opportunity and there's an alt that's significantly lower, I'll actually take that cash and enter it elsewhere. So here's a quick example with the DAG price chart. So as we've shown, before January 2021, this was a lagging indicator behind Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin started taking off a couple months before this. We can see from this low to the high of the bull run, it did over a 70x return, 7-0. Now, some alts, maybe higher caps, only did a 5 to 10x. Some mid caps still did a 20-50x return. And then you do have some outliers where they absolutely rocketed and did multiple 100x returns. Now, looking at different altcoins, right or wrong, my personal strategy is this, and this is not financial advice. I hold a variety of alts. I still hold DAG, I still hold QNT, and I'm just heavier in positions in altcoins that are relatively new and closer to their all-time low price, such as something like Casper or API3, because we can see during the all-time high, born in a bear market, just a constant crash in distribution. I personally believe that we have entered accumulation for Casper, and this bear market will not last forever. I see the sentiment on Twitter, as expected, saying that crypto will never recover from this, and that's exactly what happened during the last market crashes, forming those bottoms in 2018 and 2020. So you can see an example of DAG going into expansion, a huge parabolic rise. Of course, it has to retrace and come back down, and it's no help that Bitcoin crashes the market as well. But we can see Casper sitting towards all-time low price. Not financial advice. If you like other assets that maybe have a finite supply, they have better tokenomics, that is completely fine. Always do your own research. So you can see Casper sitting about 28-30% up from its all-time low. So I'm personally heavier in positions like Casper and API3 than some others that maybe did a 7,000% move or increase over the past few years. Because historically looking at some alts from their low, Algorand did a 20 to 25x, HBAR still did a 50 to 60x, even XRP during the last bull run still did over a 10x from the low. So looking at that and then looking at other alts that maybe are under a 500 mil market cap or under a $100 million market cap like API3, they do in fact have that 10x potential if not more. So that's what I'm looking at, and also looking at the fundamentals. I'm not just picking random assets that are low if they don't have strong fundamentals and actual utility today that is being built with real customers. So as we know, Chainlink was a leading indicator. Remember that Bitcoin started moving towards the end of 2020, but we had Chainlink even towards the bottom in 2018, starting to run all the way back in 2019, creating a new all-time high price. This was one altcoin, of course, huge adoption, a lot of hype, a lot of partnerships, and solid tokenomics at the time, and this resulted in about a 300x return from the low. If we measure from, let's see, just from this low, you can see it did over a 300x in a period of about 4 years. Now, API3 is another example, and you don't have to own this or Casper. Please do your own research, guys, and do your own due diligence. I'm comfortable with my holdings, and I've done tens of hours of research into each project. I'm familiar with the risk. I understand the inflation. I can see the potential levels. Please always do your own research. And we can see API3, another example, has yet to surpass its previous high, sitting at lower levels. And what we know is it's backed by Pantera Capital, Digital Currency Group, and Emergo, one of the founding entities of Cardano. Now, they're not necessarily going after oracles, they're going after decentralizing APIs or DAPIs. And we can see its market cap today is still under 100 million. So even if we did get a pump during the next bull run up to a $1 billion market cap, that is still a beautiful ROI. And they have integrations with a variety of chains: Phantom, Polygon, Cardano, even Polkadot. And they're partnered with Energy Web Token, Alliance Block, and a variety of others, and Moonbeam. So I know I don't talk about API 3 as much, and it's frankly just because we're in a bear market. I'm just stuck in the waiting phase. I'm accumulating, and if Bitcoin takes this market lower, I'll continue to DCA in my biggest picks with my highest conviction. On API 3's website, we can go down to Open Bank Project, and this is a group I recommend checking out. So we can scroll down, and you can see working with API 3 for open banking. Now, if we go to the Open Bank Project's website, we can see on openbankproject.com, this group right here has over 11,000 developers and over 500 APIs. And this Open Bank Project is the global standard and open source API solution for open banking even since 2010. Now, going back to API 3 and understanding their token release, last time I looked, I believe their vesting period will end at the end of 2023. So some of these original investors, such as Digital Currency Group, will get the remaining tokens as well. And I saw some comments in the last video asking, Kevin, do you still hold XLM? And I do hold XLM, it's just not a huge position. I'm much bigger in XRP because I'm familiar with the XRP ledger, and I do think that the XRP ledger is superior to Stellar. And I personally support both, and I wish them well. I'm just personally heavier in XRP. And another thing I recommend is if you're looking at altcoins, go to charts.cointrader.com just to see their price history. So if you wanted to look at XTC, for example, and look at Zinfin and see its historical performance, we can see its low since even 2019, and just look at how it's performed in recent years. And you can see it's done over a 450x, give or take. So it's done really well. Now, remember, I said that I'm trying to focus heaviest on alts that are closer to their all-time low, but that could still be a silly metric. And this is just subjective and just my opinion. Every method that exists, and this is a quote from somebody else, all methods are just ego. It's just a social construct. So this is just my subjective opinion, and understand that XTC, even though it rocketed years ago, it is servicing the trade finance space. This is trillions, and this makes the gaming ecosystem look small in comparison. So projects like XTC that are targeting really huge amounts of money in trillions of dollars, they do have higher upside. So maybe using the metric that I mentioned, looking at assets at an all-time low, it can work, but it also might not always work. So I just wanted to share that as well, because if XTC did really tap into the trillions of dollars in the trade finance market, it has huge potential as well. So I'm not bashing any projects, guys. I'm just sticking to what I know best and just sticking to my strategy throughout this bear market. And once again, yes, I believe this bear market will pass. Do not let the fear of the market and typical crashing that happens every few years or every few months at this point completely make you forget about all the fundamentals, all the research you've done, and throw it all out the window due to fear. So a few things. We have Ripple putting this article out, a win for financial inclusion in Africa. We have MFS Africa, a leading fintech with the largest mobile money footprint in Africa, partnering with Ripple, streamlining real-time payments for their customers across 35 countries. Discussing Ripple's ODL as well, and Africa boasts a $2.7 trillion market opportunity, the largest driver of business growth worldwide. And mobile money users in Africa have grown exponentially in recent years, and the number of users worldwide is expected to reach 70% of the global population. And MFS Africa connects more than 400 million mobile wallets across 35 African countries, operating upwards of 800 payment corridors across the continent. And Ripple put out another article highlighting this partnership with MFS Africa, a leading digital payments gateway, using on-demand liquidity or XRP. Africa's mobile money transactions reached $701 billion, a 39% increase on the prior year. So once again, RippleNet continues to expand ODL and a variety of other use cases even outside of on-demand liquidity. I also saw Bob Way posted a picture. He was one of the first 5 Ripple employees, and he has been quiet for a long time, so great to see him posting, and he is back, baby. We have Stuart Elderati, General Counsel of Ripple, highlighting the amicus briefs, providing independent and unique perspectives, and explain the practical and policy considerations that courts may want to consider when deciding a case. The final tally for amicus briefs right now is Ripple has 14 and the SEC has 2. This is unprecedented. Even Brad Garlinghouse said in that recent Twitter Spaces, this is unheard of. You rarely hear of this many briefs being filed in support of a company against the SEC. So once again, Africa holding 70% of the world's $1 trillion mobile money value. And XRP with on-demand liquidity is further enhancing these digital payment rails. Also saw Cristiano Ronaldo posting a teaser for his sponsorship and partnership with Binance. So his NFT collection is coming November 18th. And this is going to be huge. He has over 100 million followers on Twitter, probably a little more on Instagram as well. And thank God that he did not choose FTX to sponsor him. Also, James Filan sharing that we have Paradigm Operations formally filing its amicus brief opposing the SEC's characterization of underlying crypto assets. So a few things with the HBAR Foundation coming out with Aniseed will be launching Climate Collectibles, a new nature-based rewards program on the Hedera network for refi. And you can learn more at the hbarfoundation.org, and we can kind of go through a few things. We can see funds allocated over $360 million in over 167 grants. The supply has increased, and the price performance for HBAR has been terrible this year without any type of retracement. Now you can see they're reinvesting into this ecosystem, so I do believe that HBAR is a very strong contender for the years ahead, but yeah, it's definitely frustrating. And you can see a variety of use cases for micropayments, central bank digital currency pilots, such as with that South Korean bank Shinhan. We can also see asset tokenization, so think Toko and DLA Piper as well, and now they have an office over in Dubai. We have stablecoins, DeFi, and of course the Hedera Launchpad launching a variety of new projects on Hedera. And you can go through each of these groups just right on hbarfoundation.org and learn about them, and there's plenty of partnerships. So fundamentally, I see a project that has hundreds of millions of dollars reinvesting into their ecosystem. The price performance has been terrible, so it makes you wonder, have they been dumping their tokens to reinvest in the ecosystem? You can see a sustainable impact fund, payments and fintech, a crypto economy fund, and even a metaverse fund right here. And of course, you can go right to their blog posts and see partnerships, and they usually launch a new partnership every day with the Aniseed that we just discussed, and go through all of these and see what they're building. If I saw a project that was not building, I'd definitely get nervous, but I do believe that Hedera is working on some massive things. So me, I'm comfortable dollar cost averaging. If we go a lot lower with Bitcoin, I'm going to be going heavy. Also see ALGO Foundry for Algorand. So we have Foundry Safe just launched, your trusted multi-signature system to manage digital assets on Algorand. Now there are some OTC brokers I use. The assets are in cold storage, so they're not on a typical exchange and they're not at risk because they are custodied with multi-sig. So it requires multiple signatures to even move my funds. So if they hack the platform, they need to hack a lot more to access my crypto. So now we have Foundry Safe. You can create a safe with multiple owners on ALGO. So this is incredibly important for a multi-signature system or multi-sig. And I saw this Medium article right here for 10 Decipher 2022 speakers that we're excited for in Dubai, November 28th and November 30th. If you caught last video, we talked about Davos, we talked about Swell, and we talked about the World Crypto Conference right before Davos, that is in January. So we can see Napster, we know their connection, funny enough, to Algorand. We can see the CEO of Kraken, the European Parliament, even Planet Watch. So we did a video back in 2020 on a few Algorand use cases, and you can learn more right here, planetwatch.io, building a green data economy. Check this out, air quality data streams, and right there, we have Algorand, along with the Algorand Europe Accelerator. We have Borderless Capital and the Algorand Foundation. We have LimeWire right here, along with tools for the metaverse, and this is built on Algorand. So just a bunch of huge groups. I saw Anthony Scaramucci do an interview, and I can see a lot of people don't like him, so I don't know his background, but apparently something went on years ago in traditional finance as well. And I saw him commenting on the FTX situation and talking about different losses and holdings. And remember that FTX, I think, had a 30% stake in Skybridge, and Skybridge had $250 million in Algorand as well. So with ALGO's recent dumping, I think that they were actually selling to kind of recoup some losses, but that's just my opinion, not financial advice. But alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Be sure to like and sub, and I will catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate hitting the like button and subscribing. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, my link tree is linked right in the top of this YouTube video description with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.